Hello out there. Welcome back to Bitcoin Generations. This is Bodie, and where we have a discussion on Bitcoin, how to do Bitcoin, and today, how to do Bitcoin. And our focus is for the baby boomers and new Bitcoiners. And so, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is if you notice the the first picture, the what they call the note, or I'm sorry, the picture that's you see on the on YouTube, where it's got a picture of the family and the title of the video. Um, that's going to be kind of the focus here today. That's what was driving this. Um, and so just kind of want to unpack just a few things regarding all that. And just kind of want to shout out, acknowledge we've got a couple listeners, a couple of viewers. So welcome to the chat, welcome to the show, everybody. Um, it's a small group of us, and I'm thankful for that. But the show must go on, and so here we are. Um, so thankful for Clean Your Machine, everybody else who's out there. Welcome. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how to do Bitcoin. And so you live your life. I don't live your life. I live my life. And my life is pretty interesting, I think, but it's not for everybody, right? Just like your life isn't for everybody, but it's good for you. Hopefully it's good for you, especially if you're in Bitcoin. Really, really hope it's really good for you, or that it's headed that direction in a good way. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about here is how to do Bitcoin, and the focus is on the family. Okay, the focus is the family, and so I'm gonna kind of speak to some things that you may or may not be comfortable with, you may or may not agree with, and that's okay. That's all good, and I will just speak to the fact that sometimes we kind of live our lives, and it's like we don't really care what other people think or what other people do. We're not trying to impact them. We're trying to live peaceably. And as Bitcoiners, I think a lot of us get that. Hey, welcome to the chat, Buck 52,000. Good to see you. The alien, gotta love it. So I've taken some notes. I did a little preparation today for this, because I kind of was thinking, okay, I got some ideas about like how to do it, and then I've sort of been like just listening, kind of putting together some thoughts about things that I've seen and things, content that I've listened to, and some things that are kind of like, yeah, no, maybe a few degrees different than that. I am not one of those OGs that everybody kind of came and it's like I was early into this. No, I'm late early adopter, right? Okay, so my take on this is not like, oh yeah, I've got all this Bitcoin, and where did it, and I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that. No, it's a mindset, and that's what I wanted to share today, is the mindset of how to do Bitcoin. And so that's what I think, as a guy in my seasoned, I got a few seasons under me. That's the thing I think I can share, is that, no, I haven't done all this and this and this and this and that and everything else in Bitcoin, but I've had a few laps around the track, should we say. So with that, I will launch into our topic today on how to do Bitcoin. How do I do it versus how would I like to be doing it? Okay, so I've heard a lot of let me just start with taking the focus off self. And, I don't mean to be all uppity or, like holier than thou, or, like you've got to do this or you're nothing, nothing like that. This is really, I'm trying to be, come from an honest place of humility. And when I take the focus off self, things really seem to go better, just in general, in life in general. But in Bitcoin, I've sort of kind of discerned a little bit in listening to guys who comment and things on things. They talk a lot about I have done this, I have done that, I am working on this, I am doing that, and I understand the work that gets done and the work that needs to get done and what they're working on. That's really good. That's really good. But there is a mindset that is more than just that I think is very valuable for us to keep in mind as we take the advice of someone like Matt Odell, stay humble, stack sats. What is the most difficult part in that sentence, right? Humility. Humility is very difficult. It's difficult to tame the flesh every day, every minute of every hour. It's difficult to stay humble. All right. So, but when we do, we're thinking of someone other than just ourselves too. If we're self-focused all the time, then it's, what can I do? How am I feeling? How do I feel about that thing? Boy, that thing really just triggered me. Oh no, now I have to, do this to fix that or something, rather than just kind of like, okay, it's like the ocean, just letting it wash over me, taking a deep breath. And I have a couple of stories. I have a couple of stories that I could launch into right now, but let me make this point first. So the reason I brought this up is because the I statements are something that stand out to me when I listen to mostly men talk about their Bitcoin content. And I'm not at all talking about any specific person. Okay. In fact, I'm probably not talking about the guy that you think I'm talking about, because that's not my experience of him at all. He's like, I feel close to the guy I think you might think I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the guys that I don't really know very well, and guys that I listen to sometimes, and not just in the Bitcoin space, but in other spaces too. But when I hear a lot of I statements and I don't hear a lot of like what they're doing to serve their family or doing other things, it's like, okay, I that gets lodged in my brain, and I remember probably that more than what they were talking about. And so I think one of the things we have to remember as we move into Bitcoin and sort of getting into the mindset of how to do Bitcoin is remember that, like we all have a reputation. And I'm not talking about, we've got to defend our reputation, build a great reputation, whatever, like whether we like it or not, like the people that we are in our family with, people that we work with, people that we are constantly rubbing up against, the person at the gas station you see, once every couple of weeks, or just all these people that you interact with, that I interact with. We have a reputation. I have a reputation with that person. I have a reputation with people that I go to church with. I have, a reputation. Now, and there's a certain amount of that I can't do anything about that. I cannot do one single thing about my reputation, because people are going to have their experience of me no matter what it is that I'm doing or what it is that I'm talking about. uh, I would make a joke about myself right here and say that some of the stuff I talk about, some of the things I'm passionate about, I'm sure my reputation is like, what that guy is out there. But with that, chuckling about at myself in mind, I would just say that I don't really care what they think. It's really, none of my business what they think. I love that old saying, you know, my or no, your opinion of me is none of my business. I love that one. But uh, let me kind of stop and take a pulse check. Oh dear. Okay, I think I need to check something here. Make sure that you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Is this better? I'm telling you what, I cannot believe myself. You know what? Sometimes you just like really like step in it. And I think I did right here. So let's figure out what's going on with the audio. Is that better? Yeah, that's oh my goodness. Okay, so just so you know, I had my microphone like on the other side of my screen. I put it out of the way so it's not when I'm not using it, it's not in front of my screen. So I'm realizing something is not right. Something does not like fit this picture. What is wrong with this picture? And it's like, oh, there's no microphone sitting in front of me. And so here it is right here. This is my microphone. Killer says all good. All good. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Okay. Centuries to build, seconds to fall. Oh, yeah, right. Like just um, let me just kind of slow down here. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to say, hey, everyone. Letha, welcome. We've got Clean Your Machine. We've got Buck 52,000. We've got Killer 76. And, and then Clean Your Machine, he says, she says, as a small business owner, I have to deal with my reputation every day. Sometimes it gets tiring, but there are great rewards in the end. Amen. Amen. I absolutely can't tell you. I should tell you a short story. I was in business as a restoration contractor for like 5 years. I probably dealt with, for every 9 customers I had one that was like amazing. Like I would love to know this person outside of work, 100%. I also had some that were absolute, yeah, like I fired them. Without in a very nice and appropriate way. Did great work for them, and then I chose not to do any more work for them. That's just that's the nature of business. I mean, you get to decide who you're going to do work for. And, just amazing though about your reputation. I mean, everyone in business, we want to have like a 5-star reputation. I used to search for Google reviews, and I would ask the client that I went to work for. I would tell them right up front, because I knew we were going to knock this out of the park for them. And I would say, we're going to do a great job for you. And at the end of this job, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to ask you for a video review. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Why did you call us? What happened? And then what would you say to somebody who you want to, who you would recommend our company for? I would ask them those 3 questions. They would give me like a 1 to 3 minute answer or something, and I would record the whole thing right on my phone, and then I posted those to my website. And just absolute gold, most everyone. And I had over a dozen because I didn't start that process until I was well into business. But for anybody who owns your own business, that is a great idea. And then I got that I had to pay a lot to learn that lesson. So I give you that nugget for free. But if you own your own business and you have customers who absolutely love you, which is the goal, right? Hopefully it's the goal. They want to sing your praises, but they don't want to sit down and write a review at a computer. They don't want to write a Google review. They'd rather talk to you than do a Google review. At least that's how my customers were. So I would tell them, I would say, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to ask you a few questions. You mind if I record you? No problem. Okay, let's go over here. Let's go over there. Let's set aside some time so the phone's not going to ring, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, you need this. No problem. So I would do that, and it was gold. I still have those videos because even though I'm not in that business anymore, it's a testament to what we did for them, and it brings back the memories of that job even, So anyway, I love small business. I love the reputation side of it because we really can create our own reputation. But in the context of just generally speaking, yeah, we do have our own reputations, and we do have the ability to work hard to establish or to maintain those reputations, and in some cases, work extremely hard to change perceptions and maybe change our reputation, because everybody understands, like, hey, I screwed up. I made a mistake. I'm really sorry. Can I make that right? Or, will you forgive me for, what we did over here, or what I did over there? Everybody understands that. And that's why when a corporation comes out and they absolutely just totally drop the ball on something major, and they screw up badly, when they have a PR professional or some sort of executive vice president or somebody who comes up and goes, no, we actually need to own this. We need to say we're sorry. And then just, full disclosure, here we are, we're making the thing right. That goes so much better in the public square than, trying to obfuscate and pretend like, nothing happened, or, you're blaming or blame shifting or something. You're right. Absolutely. Buck 52,000, nailed it right there too. Yeah. You do the right thing. You can sleep at night and you can look at yourself in the mirror, 100%. Right. So we all want to make sure we can do that. And our reputation will precede us in conversation. Sometimes there's people that we don't know, and they know somebody that we know, but we don't know that. And our reputation precedes us, and that can go really well for us, or it can actually keep a door closed. So, that's why Bitcoin is so amazing, because, if you do the right thing all the time, or your intentions are, you're taking the high road, you're doing the right thing, you're trying to offer more value than you expect, you're doing things maybe at a 50% discount or something, you're really not charging nearly what something's worth, much like someone that we know. Jor does a great job of providing amazing value every show, and asks for just a pittance, a like, check out this, do that, do something like that. Hat is off to him 100%. He's slogging it out every day. And on that note, I would like to say, actually a prayer for him right now, if you don't mind. I'm going to just pray for him and his family. So, Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you for, going live on the internet and just being able to just say a prayer for Jor and his family right now. I'm just thankful for, your healing power, that you can do all things, and that sometimes when we don't know how you do things, or we don't know why you do things, we can trust that you can do things that we can't imagine. So I am thankful that you are God and that I am not, and that you can do things and heal people. And I pray right now that you would do that for Jor's mom in the hospital, that she would get well 100% and just be able to thrive and amaze the doctors and the staff that's there, and amaze Jor as well. So Lord, we just pray that we would all come to hope and knowledge of you and all these things, Lord. And I pray these things in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. So there you go. So now on to kind of the next topic. We were talking about reputation. We were talking about people who have lots of I statements. They have a reputation. I listened to one today, and this person had a lot of I statements. He was talking about what he's doing, what he's been doing, where all that, and he said I want to hire people to help me do such and such, and and on that note, I want to kind of take a page out of. There's a guy that wrote a book. His name is Joe Polish, and the name of the book that he wrote is called "What's in It for Them," and it's an amazing marketing book. This guy is like, I think his handle or his reputation is that he is the most connected guy on earth. Okay, so that guy is an amazing dude. You can check out his stuff, Joe Polish. The book is on Amazon. I got it. It's called "What's in It for Them," and and so you start that off. You start off with that mindset. What's in it for them? And you're giving people value up front. It's totally a win. It's because they get to win. They're looking at you. They've never seen you before or whatever. And you're like, hey, I got something, if you want it, it's right here. It's free. And, great. If you don't want it, no problem. I'm just, trying to be helpful, trying to provide some value up front. And that mindset it opens doors. It's and I'm not talking about trying to orange pill someone or, it is helpful for those things too, but not in this example. I'm not really specifically talking about that. That seems to come, at some point when we have a relationship with these people, or they're at the place in their walk with things that they are open to something like that, that can be great. But I'm talking about just sort of like, customer service, solving problems, rewind back to a conversation in the recent past where they were talking about, stacking skills. We've talked a little bit about that on this show, stacking skills, like what kind of stuff do you bring? You've got a marketing mindset, you've got hardware skills, you can do plumbing, you can do electrical. What can you do? Can you like raise a garden? You've got, firearms experience. You can teach gun safety class. You've got, just all different kinds of abilities and skills, and they're out there. And if you take inventory of what you can do right now, you probably go like, hey, I'm really good at these things and I want to do those things. But when you have those kinds of skills and you've stacked skills, then you can go and you can pivot and you can say, I can solve some problems here. I can do this, and because I was a fireman, I had some skills, right? I learned how to do medical stuff. So I can do some basic medical stuff without any equipment, because one of the most important skills you can have as an EMT, as a paramedic, is right here. And that is knowing what you're looking at. And I believe I mentioned that before here, but your ability to assess what's going on and look at and know what you're looking at is priceless, right? And I can tell you some stories about how that goes, for sure. Know what you're looking at. And so as we are talking here, I will take a page out of Buck 52,000's book, and I will tell you that nothing that is mentioned here is financial advice. However, there are some nuggets that you might pick up, and hopefully, if you read between the lines, you can you know what to do. So, um, on that, uh, just kind of going back to, and I'm going to finish up this point because I don't want to beat this dead horse too bad. But the mindset of self focus, the mindset of I want people to work for me because I want to accomplish such and such. I'm going to challenge that thought. And in order to get where you want to go, if you take a page out of Joe Polish's book, What's in It for Them, which is outstanding. I have it in my other room. His take on this is, if you focus on providing value up front and you front load with things that other people are interested in, things that they want, what is it that they want, then you'll get buy-in, you'll get more sort of transaction, more exchange, more communication, and you'll actually be able to to eventually, get some of the things done that you're interested in getting done. And that is part of leadership, and it's something that not a lot of people are aware of, but it doesn't look like you're getting what you want, where you want to go, in the beginning, because you're like, wait, this is so much work. It's costing me, I'm bringing all these cupcakes to this thing, and I want to, but no, I want to talk to so and so, so I'm bringing the universal language of food with me to my meeting, and I'm going to, let them, eat something, and I'm going to see if I can talk to them about such and such. you know Universal language of food is a beautiful thing, right? And I know some of you have that skill. I have seen, well, I've heard. So I'll just leave it right there. um and then I would also like to say that, um there is something about, there's another book that I've been reading, and I've been reading it, and I'll tell you about this too. And I know not all of you are have the same kind of viewpoints as I have on some of these things, but I would share this book with you. This book right here, Thank God for Bitcoin, written by Robert Breedlove, Jordan Bush, Gabe Higgins, George McHale, Lyle Pratt, Jimmy Song, Julia Turansky, and Derek Walchak. So this is a very interesting book. It's got some great principles in it, and some of the things that we have learned about Bitcoin are principles that are consistent with things that I would find in the Bible too. And one of them is about work. Okay, so kind of like this all comes under the heading of, like, how do we do Bitcoin? Well, one of the things about Bitcoin that we all know is proof of work. Well, if you have a mindset where you're creating and you're working, then you're not destroying and you're not taking. And the like, I'll take a quote out of here, page 8. It says, "Work is what we do in order to create something of value for ourselves and others." Okay, so work is what we do there. Theft is the opposite. It is taking something of value from others. And they go on to talk about, well, there's one other quote here. "We imitate God when we work, and we imitate the devil when we steal." And yeah, so there's the black and the white, the good and the bad there. It's pretty obvious. and this is where I'm kind of bringing this back into sort of a community sort of side of things. Okay. When we work, it becomes sort of apparent. It's not a, we've created things. We've brought value to the table. It's not an empty, a hollow, superficial kind of thing. And we don't trust, if you've noticed, we don't trust people initially, especially nowadays. We don't trust very easily. And on that note, uh trust is very hard to gain and uh very easy to lose. So over time, you kind of can see uh people's reputation. You can kind of see what kind of proof of work do they bring to a community. And I would say that I'm going to take another quote out of this book. He says, it says here, and I'm on chapter 1 in page number 9. Having a community allows individuals to develop specialized skills and trade the fruits of their labor. Okay, nothing earth-shattering there. And this can be centrally controlled by a governing body or voluntarily entered into based on demand. We'll discuss centrally controlled cooperation in chapter 5, but the main way that communities functioned throughout history has been through voluntary exchange. This is where money comes in. Money acts as a powerful tool to measure the value of work. One of the main benefits of communities is the ability to specialize. Okay, so I won't go any further into that. Just to say that specialization is a real gift among communities, and I think we have seen this. We have seen this in the Living in the Future little the little small community that we have there that is growing, and as some of the ideas in there are growing, and I would say, that we have gifts, we have specializations that we can all do, and we also have to, seriously look at, what's good for the family unit, what's not good for the family unit, and as for me, as a dad, as a husband, I have to look at, what do I need to do to protect, to provide, to make sure that all the needs are met, as far as it depends on me. And so those are things that, I bring that stuff back to my role as a provider for the family. But remembering this, that the family is the core, and whether it's a small family, which is single person family, whether or not it's what it is, but it's it becomes sort of scaled and more pronounced. Seems like the larger the family, the more needs that the family has, and so yeah, I can speak from experience there, that this mindset of working is something that we definitely need to be in. Okay, and I'll explore that for just a second. The mindset of working. Okay, so when we talk about working, uh, it can take a lot of different. It can take a lot of different forms, right? I mean, just because someone owns a business doesn't mean they have to do all the physical labor of all the jobs on the, and unless they're like a single proprietor. If you're a single guy and you're going out to do jobs and stuff, then you do everything, you do all of it, you're wearing all the hats. um is that better or worse than being somebody else that's, you're a president of a corporation and you've got 100 people that work for you? It's not. It just depends on your situation and how. But if you're in that leadership role, you better have some good tools at your disposal, and you probably are in a different space than that. But the point that I'm trying to make, though, is that as somebody who's doing work, I'm gonna speak to men here, okay? Because that's what I am. That's what I know best. I'm gonna speak to men. I'm gonna say that men were created for work. We were created for work. You got strong arms, you got strong legs, you got a brain that functions. Hopefully, you have some eyesight and some hearing. You can actually do some things, and you can create some things. You can make stuff. You can serve others. There's a lot of different kinds of things that you can do. And so I think men were created to work. And when men don't work, like we have seen in the past, I don't know how many years you want to go back, but definitely I had some guys who weren't interested in working that worked for me, and I could speak to that ad nauseum about the lessons that I learned about being a business owner in a service minded business. But I'll save you that for right now. I would just say that men were created to work, and if they don't want to work, then there's some definite consequences that that they're gonna suffer because of that. But we're coming out of a phase where I think that there's a lot of men that didn't know how to work, or knew how to work and didn't want to work, or basically we were not our government, our society, our culture was not embracing entrepreneurship. We were not encouraging business owners. We were not encouraging people to go out and start businesses. In fact, some of the people that started businesses, they had an entire government apparatus that was in the U.S. anyway, that was it was designed to fund people to start businesses who weren't starting businesses. They were starting business on paper so they could get a government handout to the tunes of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I saw it with my own eyes, and it just made me bitter, and I just didn't want any part of that. So the guys who are out there slugging it out, trying to bring home an honest wage, grow a business the honest way, those guys took the back seat. And these guys who were taking money from the government to fund their quote unquote businesses, and I'm not talking just men either. I'm talking about there was a lot of different kinds of scenarios on that. But aside from that, we just kind of stay on the positive here. And so men were created to work, and I see over here we've got just I'm going to get back to this point in a second, but I got to go over here and I got to look at lambs and cows get fed and get slaughtered. Yeah, that's right. And I farmed a little bit too. Every animal on the farm has got a job. Some animals are just looking to find a place to die, right? But there are animals that have a job, and their job is to eat well, stay healthy, and then get slaughtered. So they're going to go in the freezer in their dinner, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. There is that as well. And I will say that on that note, not every man is wired or able to party as much as maybe he once was. And ask me how I know. But I will say this in terms of staying in shape and working out. Hey, this is for the brothers in Canada. I will tell you, playing ice hockey is one of the best things you can possibly do at my age. I love it. It's the best. It's so much fun. And I love skating faster and being better than some of the guys that are in their 40s or 50s because because I've been doing it a long time and I love playing hockey. It's the best. Um, yeah, here we go. Okay, Clean Your Machine says, I do know many hardworking, tough women that I take my hat off to. I think at the end of the day, it's all mindset and what you want for your family. Yeah, yeah, 100%. And likewise, I will tell you, I have seen some of the amazing, like amazing young ladies who could work the tail off of some of the guys that I know. There were people, they could go into a building that's on fire with me and pull me out. Take care of business. Absolutely. And I saw when I was in Wildland, I saw some that were amazingly and just they were like total like triathletes and like yeah. Uh I will say that I didn't see as many of those as I would have liked to, but back in the day when I was in Wildland, yeah, there was a few. There was a few. There was some great ones. So I want that on record that my hat is off to them too. Like totally. Uh, and like where are those girls when you need them, right? Like man, like where's a cop when you need one? They're never where you need them when you need them, right? They're always getting a donut or something. Okay, so let's keep moving here. Okay, so I had this thing. Men were created to work. Absolutely can be applied to women as well. I have some of I have some of the most respect for farmers, and they do not get the reputation or they do not get the recognition that they deserve. And a lot of farmers, many farmers that I know are married and they have their wives work harder than they do. They're absolutely amazing, especially when you have like a large family. It's a sight to behold. Um, I have utmost respect for large families and moms who take care of business day in, day out. My wife is one. My wife, I am so blessed to be married to my wife. She has the patience that I wish I had, and I don't. I don't have patience like she does, but she's trying to teach me patience, and she's not alone, right? I know the Lord's working on my patience, and I am thankful for that because there's times when I'm just absolutely ready to just like, like come unglued or something, and which is not helpful, right? So, yeah. Okay. So let's go into a little bit here more. We go Clean Your Machine, I want to ask Clean Your Machine. So last week I think we had the question of or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, you had the 14-year-old grandson. Yeah, tell us an update on anything new with the 14-year-old grandson. That'd be great. Um, I say, yeah, the kids here in Alberta, they're outside in a t-shirt when it's -10. I love it. Absolutely love it. Like it doesn't phase them a bit, right? Yeah, it's cold, but they got they got a lot of spirit, got a lot of heat going on, a lot of energy to burn. Yeah. So how come so many crypto bros today, huh? Do we have so many? Do we have some in here? Where are the crypto bros? If you're a crypto bro, raise your hand. I want to see you. We need to have a little more of a talk here. Yeah. So, uh, yeah, living good with Sabian. Okay. I love having AI do the work for me too. And there is some work that can be done by AI. But AI is not washing my dishes. AI is not doing some stuff that, not yet anyway. But yeah, we could be getting there. And what is the money of AI? What is the internet money of AI? Yeah. Yeah. Stay humble and stack. Yeah. You know what? Okay. So, uh, oh my goodness, Letha, wow. She was lucky. She says, I got to homeschool my boys thanks to my husband. Oh, amen. That is music to my ears, Letha. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm telling you what, it is the best. I would absolutely ask for your opinion on this. Was that the best decision you ever made regarding your kids? I mean, I'm ready to say that. That was one of the best decisions I could have ever made for my kids. Uh, yeah, so I'm 100% behind homeschooling, and for good reason. I mean, it's like Bitcoin. Homeschooling has stood the test of time, and it's tried to have been banned in multiple states here in the U.S. and in Europe, and I'm not sure about Canada, but in Europe, it's even worse. They've had families that were like put in jail, like the parents were like going to be pursued to be put in jail because they were homeschooling their kids against the state's wishes. Unbelievable. I would say, I mean, so Letha says, absolutely. Yeah, they're wonderful, successful men now. And you know what? I'll bet you, well, I'm not going to bet you, but I'd be willing to say that if you asked Letha's wonderful, successful young men now who are her sons, if you were to ask them, what was your thoughts about being homeschooled? That you would love the response. Okay. And I mean, we're getting right back to kind of like we're doing a full circle here. I don't know if you noticed. Look at the thumbnail. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Look at the thumbnail on today's show. How to do Bitcoin. And you see well, you may not be able to see it if you're looking at the show right now, but when you look at that thumbnail and you can see the mom, the dad, the little kids, the little baby in the arm there, like that's how this happens, that's male and female were, right? It's not hard to figure out, like, um, and and it's a biblical thing too. Go forth and multiply and subdue the earth and take dominion, right? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. So, in case anybody's confused about what the goal is, let's remember what the goal is. Let's put it in black and white letters right here, right now. The way to do Bitcoin is have a family. How do you have a family? Well, you have a male and a female. You have a family, and you raise them up yourself. Believe me, it's a lot of work. Ask Letha. It's a ton of work, right? But you raise them up and you teach them every day the things you want them to learn, the things you want them to know, how to save money, what money is, what the actual history of, your country, what the actual history of, not the made up, sanitized, state sponsored, government approved, you know, uh, you know, medical procedure, vaccinated. Oh dear, I'm going to be in trouble. All that stuff that you're required to do, but you actually know a lot more than you think about. And I'm preaching to the choir here, part of it, but I would just say, in the future, please do, if you don't have kids or you don't have them yet, please do have lots of kids, and please do homeschool your kids, and don't ever for a second think that it's too much work, or there's no way you can afford it, or that you can't afford kids. Um, oh, absolutely. You'd be surprised. Um, if you don't have the mindset that your kids have to go to college, or that your kids or that you have to pay for all of their college if they go to college. There's some very creative ways to pay for college too, if they're going to go to college. But I would say in today's economy, where we are in Bitcoin right now, with the trades, the need for people in the trades, oh my goodness, It's amazing what kind of need there are for guys in the trades. I mean, you could get plumbers, guys that are going into plumbers. If you have somebody that's young, anybody who wants to go into the plumbing trades, are you kidding me? They can. It's crazy. If I was 40 years younger than I am right now, I would be going into plumbing 100%, 100%. Because what I know right now about Bitcoin mining, about the future of plumbing, the future of water heaters, for example, just just a little thumbnail of what I know about that. And I don't know hardly anything. I would say 100%. I could also, if anybody in the chat, anybody who's interested in going into plumbing, contact me and I will give you the website of some guys that I know who are doing plumbing really well. They're young guys. They own their own plumbing company, and it is by far probably the best one. In fact, right here live on this show, I am going to show you something that you're just not going to believe. You're just not even going to believe it. Okay. And, here we go. All right. So, nothing like a live show to get you kind of like interested in something, right? Let me show you these guys. These are guys that I know. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? You are not ready for this. I'm telling you what, these guys, and I don't want to like sit them on a pedestal, okay? But I do want to share this website with you because if you know anybody who's interested in plumbing, you need to know about these two guys that started this company. All right. Here they are. This is, let me get their names. All right. And yep, you can see it. Streamline Plumbing. And I'm going to, okay. Yeah. So the guy's name, the guy that I was friends with, the guy that I used to actually hired these guys to come to job sites for me and do work for me. This was when they first got started. These guys were, here's the story. They were young guys. They became, and no, they're not, this picture is not, don't get any ideas about that picture. They're friends and they came, to want to become plumbers. They figured out like what kind of business do they want to start, and they went and got some experience on how to do plumbing, and then they worked for somebody else, and they worked at different places, and then they figured out that they were going to start a business together. Well, what they do is they've designed this whole company to where most of everything that they do online. If you want to book these guys for an appointment, you have to go to their website. You book an appointment. Your Streamline guy arrives. They give you some pricing. They do the work, and then you pay them. Done. Okay. They have they do new construction work. They do all this kind of stuff that they do. And why am I pumping them? I'm just trying to give you a business model for a business that has absolutely gone crazy. So they go through and they show you all this stuff about plumbing. I know we're way off topic, but I want to show you something. The reason I'm showing you this is because I want you to see something here. I'm trying to find the actual picture of the back of their van. Okay. Have you ever seen a plumbing van that looks like this? Look at that. Look at that plumbing van. I'm telling you what, when they pull up, the first time I ever saw these guys, I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy. This is the guys for me. Look at that. They pride themselves on impeccable work, beautiful. The back of their vans are beautiful. Look at these guys. This guy in the center is the guy that I know. And actually, I've actually seen them a couple times. I would be in I'd be in a coffee shop doing my estimates and doing stuff like that. I'm working on my laptop and stuff, and these guys stroll in on a Wednesday, and they're not dressed up or anything. They're just kind of in casual clothes, and I recognize them. I'm like, hey, and I knew them from other jobs and things that I've worked on. Well, they strolled in. They take Wednesdays off to go work on their business. These guys, and they were like in their early 20s when I met them. Okay, look, they're transforming the plumbing industry by creating and giving value everywhere we go. Okay, so why am I sharing that with you? I'm sharing that with you because with a vision, you can create something absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you what, let me show you real quick who these guys are. Okay, look at this. They are at the top of the Google reviews. 5-star, 421 Google reviews. Why would I go into plumbing? Because with a reputation like this, those guys are going to be multi-millionaires without any kind of technological advancements like we're looking at right now in Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of take that away for you. I would say that we have some things in the living in the future community that are sort of like some seeds that have been planted, some things that are going on, some conversations that are about to be had. I'm thankful for Jor. I'm thankful for the guys and the gals in the living in the future community. I can't tell you. If you're not a part of that community, just contact me and in the comments, ask for me to give you my I've been having trouble putting things in the show notes. But we'll try to get that done. But if you're not in that community, that's someplace that would be really helpful for you to be. Oh, this is good. Okay. All right. So anyway, you guys are too much here. So let's see here. Let me back up a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Live Good with Sabian. Okay. His company is actually unique in that it's literally building huge teams for me and freeing up all his time and pays me in Bitcoin. Maybe we should have a conversation. That would be very interesting to find out how you're using AI in that way. And then Buck 52,000 raised his daughter, best decision ever, beside putting her in private school. Okay, yeah, excellent. So that's you're making the command decision for your family. What you've got to do there, 100%. My total respect. Not everybody can homeschool, but there's a lot of people that if you could and you were able to, that might be something you could consider. And for some people, it doesn't work at all. Some people went through the pandemic and they learned what homeschoolers have to do. We had to do 2 weeks or 2 months or something of homeschooling. And they're like, like, I can't do this. I couldn't do it by myself. There's no way. There's no way. That's 100% my wife. And that's one of the reasons why I basically insisted that she stay home. If she wanted to, she was totally up for that. But that's my situation. It doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for me. And we're coming out of the last one that we're homeschooling right now. Thank God. But yeah, yeah, there we go. There we go. That's a really great thing with daughters. Um, she will know how a man is supposed to treat her. Absolutely, 100%. Um, yeah, as a dad of a couple of daughters who are, you know, right around 20, 21, yeah, no doubt, 100%. That is so important. Um, so I did ask Clean Your Machine, how his grandson was doing. Kind of a couple of weeks ago, we had a conversation, or he was making some recommendation. Had a question actually for us regarding his 14-year-old grandson. So he says he's starting to work in his shop 10 hours a week. Going to pay him in sats and a little cash. He's got a Speed wallet on his phone. He's getting a lot of videos to help him. Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So I take it you're finding that Speed Wallet's working well. Okay, that's great. Great news. Um, Wonderful. Yeah. So uh, here's a question from Buck 52,000. He says, "Are you worried about leaving too much Bitcoin to your kids? Might make them too wealthy in the future and spoiled." Oh, that is a great question. Okay, and particularly for me, because first of all, I don't have very much Bitcoin, and second of all, I don't think it should be. I think it needs to be. But depending on the situation, if it's my wife only, then we would approach that in a different way than if it was just like my wife and I both got killed in a car accident or something, and my kids had that, right? Um, that might need to be locked up, and you might, depending on the situation, you might want to have something where it's kind of time released, um, and so uh, I'm not worried about that. Um, and I would say in that regard, um, the way that we have raised our kids, I mean, they have to work for everything. They have had to work, and if I had to do it over again, I would say that I would have held to my guns and not given any of them a smartphone until they were well into their 17, 18 years. Um, but I didn't. I let that sort of like slip a little bit. So if I had to do it over again, I would say no smartphones at all until you're 18. I think that's a and at this point in my life, I'm like, do I really need it? Is that really something that's helpful to me? Um, and yeah, so but that was a big deal. The smartphone thing was a big deal because I think it, especially kind of going through the pandemic, it wasn't really helpful. In fact, I think it was more unhelpful. But the yeah, yeah, I would say that kind of on this note, what I've done is I started kind of with my girls. They're the oldest ones in my house right now. My son's off and married, but with my girls, um, we started talking about this quite a while ago, and so more recently, I was encouraging them to download, Lightning Wallet, and to start explaining to them the differences between, you know, custody, sorry, self custody, and hot wallets. Um, and so I think it was really helpful to them to start having conversations with me, and then I could, explain Noster. That's a different sort of social media kind of connection to the Bitcoin, but also, the Lightning wallet, and where I've used Aqua wallet with them, and now they're getting into the Fold, and they're going to be in the U.S. They're going to start. I think stacking using Fold. And I've talked to him about dollar cost averaging because the question came up, hey, how do I how should I buy like once a week? This is how much I want to buy. Should I buy once a week? And I said, well, you could, but you could also, if the market did something during the week and it was all over the place because it's volatile, I said, wouldn't it be better to actually dollar cost average every day? Take that amount that you want to dollar cost average each week and divide that by 6 or 7 and buy, every day, you know. And if you notice, those dollar cost averages, they go into when you buy that first time, they will buy every 24 hours after that at that exact same time. So I'm not actually, on this question, not worried about that. I'm more interested in kind of um, teaching them to succeed and teaching them sort of to learn. They need to get up to speed and start getting the wheels turning in their brain about like what this is and how this works. Because if we were just to go like cold turkey, like I didn't say anything to them, it's just, hey, oh, here's some of this over here, and dad's not here anymore. I hate to think of how that would go, because I'm thinking that the BlackRock vacuum cleaner would just be like there to just suck it right up, and they would be happy to just turn that back into fiat greenbacks. So no, my emphasis is on education with them, and my emphasis is on education with Mrs. as well. So this is something that we always have to kind of be like cognizant of, like who's going to be driving the bus if I get off, right? So yeah, so like let's keep moving here. I'm not sure if this is a bot or not, but I would answer the question anyway. I would say that you know you know where should your excess time and energy go if not to your kids? Not really going to worry about that, because my wife knows where my excess energy goes, and I will just leave it at that. Okay. Yeah. So Nostr is layer 3 Bitcoin, which is a social layer ensuring free speech. Yeah, it is. It's 100%. And if you're not familiar with, if there's any people that are watching that are not familiar with Nostr, so it's a protocol that is sort of like layered on top of the financial layer of Bitcoin. If I explain that correctly, probably not, but it allows. So think of like Twitter, kind of, but that you, instead of just liking or sharing or posting, you can actually zap little amounts of Bitcoin to people for different reasons. If you like the picture, if you like the post that they made, or you want to purchase something from somebody who's on Nostr, you like their artwork, or you like the music, there's certain kind of music and streaming platforms that you can zap a podcast that you like it better, or you like this a lot, or you like what they said about this. There's going to be all kinds of new and different ways that people are going to be using that. So for all of you who understand Nostr, I'm kind of talking about stuff you already know, but I would say that in it's always evolving. One thing I'm going to say is kind of want to get back to sort of some of the stuff we were talking about, how to do Bitcoin, kind of the show topic today. And like, we've seen some things recently where, it's kind of like, okay, you kind of like, my wife has this saying, time and track record. And, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see some of the things that are going on here. Like, for example, you've seen the meme coins, the presidential stuff going on in the US, the presidential thing going on in Argentina with the meme coins, all that stuff. Like, here's my question for you. Like, how much staying power do you have? How much endurance do you have? How much, how much, how much vinegar you got intestinal fortitude do you have? I mean, that is like, that's what we really need, right? We don't need, this is something that, I'm not against people, making money, in business. I think it's perfectly fine. But I do think that one of the most interesting parts about Bitcoin is that I think you have some really, really some of the sharpest minds in the world, keeping very close eye on this. And that's fascinating to me. I love learning from people that are much smarter than me. And but sometimes the people that are much smarter than me don't have as much, time in the saddle as some of the rest of us. So it's really kind of an interesting connection there. So I love listening to the younger guys. And some of these guys are like, just flat out, just totally rich now because of, what Bitcoin's done. And so it's interesting to watch them. And also, it's like, uh, they don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers, but that's what's great about Bitcoin is because there's a network effect on this. It's great. It's great to see people doing really well. I just love that. But I also realize that one of the things that we really need to keep in mind is that, to kind of stay in Bitcoin and to not have lettuce hands and not sell or not, capitulate and not, and to be kind of like mindful of the fact that there's some really bad guys out there they want to take advantage of you. They want to hack your stuff as fast as they can. They're going to impersonate. There's going to be people who sound and look absolutely real, but they're not. This is something we have to stay eternally vigilant for. And so, remember, this is a generational kind of concept that we're uh, trying to emphasize here. Your Bitcoin is for your family. Your Bitcoin needs to be preserved. Your generational wealth needs to be preserved for your family. And that's it. So you do what you need to do to protect your family and protect your generational wealth and preserve your Bitcoin. And so that's the high level, right? That's the high level. So that's how we want to do. That's how the stuff we want to do. And ultimately, how we do Bitcoin is that we're not going to like, everybody's going to be like, oh, we're all going to get rich and it's going to be great. And we're going to go sit on the beach and we're going to do this and we're going to go play golf every day and stuff like that. It's like, man, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be fun to go and play golf. And I think it's great to go sit on the beach. I love doing that. And at the end of that vacation, it's like sometimes it's like, man, I need to just grind some stuff out. I need to work. I need to do some things. Right. So that's the kind of things that I think that that we're looking at. Those opportunities are coming. Those opportunities, if you're not challenged enough yet in Bitcoin, you need to do some more digging. You need to do some more hard work. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, okay, so I don't understand everything about Bitcoin, but I love going down the rabbit hole of the mining. I love learning about this. This is really something that's very interesting. And the guy, I forget the guy who was in the Living in the Future chat, but he's not from I'm going to give it to you right here. I'm going to give this guy's name. He's not from the US. I think he's from England. And what's his podcast is called oh dear, what in the world is the name of that podcast? Okay. Oh yeah, so here we go. It's Welcome to Hash Power Academy. Hash Power Academy is the guy's name. And this guy at Hash Power Academy, he's talking about if you don't understand the full value, you basically is what he's saying is you can't really understand the full value of Bitcoin. You don't understand it completely until you understand the mining part of it. And at first when I first heard that, I'm like, oh man, I'm never going to understand that. That's just way over my head. And then I'm like, well, you know, I'm fearless. Like let's try this. Let's see what I can learn. And so I went down there and I'm like, all right. I went to Denver. I went to Denver to the show down there, the conference that they had down there, and it was very interesting. I met some people, and there's a lot of people that I didn't meet that I wanted to meet, but I didn't really have a good reason to go talk to them. But you know, I have a reason why I'm interested in mining, because of the heat reuse. But I would just say that uh, this is something that is just fascinating to me. I think it's just very interesting. Um, and it's got multiple different kinds of dynamics going on, and what's going on with the chips, and who's going to make the chips, and where they're making, and what kind they're making. And this is just really just like it's like creating its own weather, just by itself. So I think it's really cool to learn about Bitcoin, to continue to do the work, to continue to go down the rabbit hole, because there's a reason why we need to do this. There's a whole lot of stuff that we need to teach our next generation. There's a ton of work to still be done. And so even a guy like me, who's this old, washed up, gray-haired guy, that's just like, ready to rock and roll on this Bitcoin thing. So I just absolutely am fired up about it. I'm pushing an hour and 15 minutes on this. So uh, I want to absolutely, encourage every one of you guys to keep keep paddling the boat. We're learning that we're paddling in the same direction, and we need to like continue to network together, and to work together, and to find things that we can work on together. Um, and then I'm going to wrap it up here in a second. So kind of circling back with living good with Sabian. So so as I explained kind of about Nostr, he's like, yep, that's correct. It's built with the Lightning Network built in. Okay. Uh, and yeah, and so he's using that. He's saying that okay, it's a AI is a tool that can be used by good and bad folks equally, and so is Bitcoin. 100%, absolutely. So so Sabian, I will tell you that if you don't know about this place in Denver, I will tell you about it, because I spent a couple days there. It's called the Space in Denver, and there's some really smart guys and gals, I think, in that space there. And they developed this space in Denver for and let me get you just so you guys can track these guys. I want you to. This is really amazing. It's an actual physical location, and it's in Denver, and you may have heard of it. If you haven't, I'm gonna bring it up for you, and so you can, if I can spell correctly. Uh, let's see. I'm typing P, but it's keep putting an O in there. All right. Okay. And so this is, I'm going to show you the space. Okay. It's at space capital D Denver, space Denver. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Let's see. No, you really can't see that very well. Okay. Well, okay. So you can see the kind of the S there. Actually, I'm not following them. It says Denver's Bitcoin Citadel. We don't know what we're doing yet, but we're doing it. Founded at block 836 738. And their website is at denver.space. These were the guys, and I met them, right? They're young guys, and they are like, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to have a place where Bitcoiners can come and work and do what they need to do. And one of the guys who's leading the thing, his name is Tyler, um, and the book that Tyler wrote is the heat reuse book for the Brains mining company. Very, very, very smart guy. This guy was a thermal engineer for
Really, really amazing guy. So Denver, you've got some stuff happening in Bitcoin. The space is the place to go. Connect with those guys, Sabian, and I would love to talk to you about what you're doing with AI. But we can schedule that at some point. Reach out to me, and we'll see if we can connect. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up. 1 minute 20, 1 hour 20 minutes into this. How to do Bitcoin, have a family, raise your kids, homeschool them if possible, have lots of kids. And is that a ton of work? Oh yeah, it's a ton of work. But the younger you do it, the sooner you'll be able to retire and like have your kids helping you do stuff. And it's amazing, especially if you got some land, you can have some chickens and some cows or some, you know, meat birds, lots of laying hens. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. It's the best life I ever lived, which was with my kids on a little farm. And just we did all kinds of stuff together. It's the best, the very best. And the only thing that could have been better is if I still had that place and I was into Bitcoin. So anyway, you all have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. We prayed for Jor and his mom. I hope that she's getting better. And we'll be talking to you very soon. Thanks again for coming by the Bitcoin Generations, and stay humble. And you know the rest. Take care, everybody.